My incompetent company promoted everyone except me for 7 years. They gave the senior developer title to a guy who couldn't write a basic function without copying from Stack Overflow. Then they asked why our entire system crashed. I joined Meridian Tech when it was just 15 people in a cramped office above a sandwich shop. I was employee number 9, hired straight out of community college because they couldn't afford anyone with a fancy degree. For 7 years, I built the backbone of everything they sold. The payment processing system, the client database, the security protocols. Every line of critical code had my fingerprints on it. Nobody cared. Promotions went to people who talked louder in meetings. Wesley got a senior developer because he golfed with the CEO. Pamela got team lead because she dated the operations manager for 6 months. A kid named Trent got the architect title after 18 months because his uncle sat on the board. I applied for advancement 11 times, 11 rejections with the same feedback. You're invaluable in your current role. We can't afford to move you. Translation: keep doing the hard work while others take the credit. My manager Rupert was the worst. He presented my solutions as his own ideas in executive meetings. He scheduled important discussions when I was on vacation, so decisions got made without my input. He told HR I wasn't leadership material because I was too quiet, too focused on technical details, not enough of a people person. When I asked directly why Trent got promoted over me despite my seniority, Rupert laughed. Trent has an executive presence. You have, well, you're good with computers. I stopped asking after that. The company grew. 50 employees, then 100, then 200. They moved into a glass tower downtown. My salary increased slightly, but my title stayed frozen. Junior developer. The same title I had when I started. I kept my head down and did my job, but I also started doing something else. I documented everything, not for revenge, for survival. Every system I built, every problem I solved, every shortcut the promoted people took that would eventually cause problems. I created a personal knowledge base that lived only in my head and my private notes. 8 months ago, I got an offer from a competitor. 30% raise, senior architect title, full remote work. I submitted my resignation on a Friday afternoon. Rupert panicked. He offered a counteroffer within 2 hours. I declined. He offered more money. I declined. He finally offered the promotion I'd been denied for 7 years. I almost laughed in his face. You had 7 years to value me. I'm done waiting to be seen. My last day was uneventful. No party, no card, just a brief handshake and a deactivated badge. They probably thought they'd be fine without me. They were wrong. The first outage happened 2 weeks after I left. Payment processing went down for 6 hours during their busiest sales period. Wesley couldn't figure out why. The system I'd built had dozens of interdependencies that nobody else understood because nobody else bothered to learn. The second outage was worse. A security vulnerability I'd flagged 3 years earlier finally got exploited. Client data leaked. Lawsuits started piling up. Trent quit under pressure after the board discovered he'd been approving code changes without understanding what they did. Pamela got demoted when her team missed every deadline for 2 consecutive quarters. Wesley got fired after he accidentally deleted a production database, trying to fix something he didn't understand. Rupert's reputation collapsed. The executive team blamed him for losing institutional knowledge. For years of promoting unqualified people over the one person who actually kept things running. 3 months ago, Meridian CEO called me personally. He apologized for how I'd been treated, said they were desperate, offered me a consulting contract at 4 times my old salary to come back and fix everything. I let him finish his entire pitch. Then I told him my consulting rate was 6 times what he offered, with a minimum 12-month commitment, and I'd only report directly to the board, not to Rupert, not to anyone who'd been part of the previous leadership. He agreed to everything. I spent the first week auditing the damage. It was worse than I expected. Years of technical debt from people who got promoted based on connections instead of competence. I wrote a report recommending Rupert's termination. The board approved it unanimously. They offered me his job. I declined. I preferred consulting. More money, less politics, and I could walk away whenever I wanted.